We are up to the parentheses. The line starts with the parentheses on AyinBase, and it is the seventh line from the beginning, from the top. So we are interchangeably speaking about the moshel and the nimshal, talking about the way it is l'mayla, and then in the flow of things we go back to the moshel, the way it is l'mato, so that we understand what we're talking about. So he says that the Ayin sechel is mislabesh throughout the entire structure, Odom, the structure of Odom. In the sechel, in the meach, and then in the lev, in the heart, and in the heart, all 10 spheres, all the way to Malchus. And the way this is also represented on the chitzenius level, when it's mislabesh in the goof, on a functional level, there too there is the Ayin sechel, Ayin ha-mechin, as we discussed yesterday. And it says the last stage that this is and this is effective is on the regel, on the foot. This is called regel on the human level, and the regel this is Ayin ha-malchus. The Malchus is called regel because this is the lowest level there is, the end of the entire Seder Hishtalshelus. And now it says in parentheses, vegum nikra regel. What? Vegum nikra regel. Another insight why Malchus is called regel, foot, the yois, being that shebo v'al yodo, that through it nimshach hagilui bo'elam shalamato, the gilui of all the spheres, particularly the Ayin of the moichin, is brought down in Olam Shalmato into the lower level world. The principle of Gilui is a recurring inference. Perhaps this would be a good time to discuss it a little bit. Gilui means revelation. Revelation means that you're revealing something that pre-existed on a subtle and a concealed level, in a concealed manner. And this is only coming out externally to be revealed. This principle of revelation is present at all levels. So we will speak about it on the lowest level, on the level of the regel, of the foot, the regel of Malchus. Malchus is also, as we're going to see, is on all levels. Pardon me. The final stage of it, so that we can actually identify with it. As we said, I think yesterday and the day before, when one walks, which is the function of the foot, but the foot cannot walk nowhere. Walking means that you're walking to a destination. This destination is identified by the sechel, and then it comes down into the midot, into the heart. The sechel identifies destination, and the heart is inspired to go and pursue it. And then it goes through all the various levels of execution, of finalization, all the way to the point where you're actually picking up and walking. You're walking to this destination. Walking is not an independent action. The feet are walking. And you have in your mind, whatever you have in your mind, that will be accomplished by the walking. But the walking is independent. It's two different things. How's the foot doesn't know what I'm thinking about? That's not the case. The walking is that's called the gilui. This is the final expression of that which is contained on the higher levels. Gilui, various reasons. The most important Inyan we should understand this Inyan Gilui is as long as it is in the sechel. Yes, I understand, and I know what I want. But the sechel is connected to the higher koiches of rotzen and oinek. It's connected to the nefesh. The sechel is something which I really recognize as a broader and a profound truth. And the same thing is in midot. It's connected to the source. When it comes down to walking, this is where we think that it's completely independent, because it's of such a low level, and it's a very simple action. The action is so simple that it can be actually duplicated on a robotic level. You cannot get a robot to think or to feel, no matter how clearly defined the feeling is. But you can get a robot move its legs, its mechanical legs, and it will actually walk. The human being, when he walks, is also moving his legs. Exactly that. But his moving of legs is revelation of the most profound sense of reality that he has. But it's a revelation of it. This is where it gets revealed. Why is it called revelation? And a profound thought he had, he didn't think of walking, he thought about the idea. So revelation means something that pre-existed on the concealed level. Where does walking exist in the concealed level? The answer is that the human being, as we mentioned many times, has been conceived and created for the purpose of affecting the world. It's a tremendous creation, but embedded in that creation, the godly element in that creation, is that he would come to the world and he would transform the world. It says so in the Pasuk. I'll create Adam, and he will rule, he will guide the whole world. Therefore, the very essence of the human being, this is the godly intent and plan for him. This is ultimately Nizgala on his feet. Through his feet. This is the Gili. If I have you with me, I'll take it a step further. That this Gili and this reality, the ultimate purpose of the world. It's true that it is identifiable and recognizable in the world, but in ultimate reality, this ultimate purpose is actually godly, and it stays with its source. The real significance in all our activities is, as we say in the Beis Pashas, Nachas Ruach Lefon Aishnasa in the same. Korbanos is the highest level of Avodah, the simplest. You'd think you would take a behemoth on a mizbeach and burn it, and that reflects the Nachas Ruach Lefonai, Nachas Ruach in Atzmos, Shenasa Nitzei. The time is running much faster. Maybe you check this guy out.
The regel that runs.
Okay, so let's go now. וגם נקרא רגל יהיה שבו ועל ידו נמשך הגיל בעולם של המטה. וכידוע, as is known, the Malchus hu bechinas hagilui. That Malchus is the bechina, is this aspect of Gilui. There are all 10 spheres, starting from Chochmah, all the way into Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, and so forth. Malchus, this is the element of Gilui. This is the ultimate statement of what this is all about. And it also means Shagam Hagilui B'Spheres Gufo, that also the Gilui within the Spheres themselves, Mehasphira Ho'elyoino El HaTachtoino, as it goes and ishtalshel from the higher sphere into the lower sphere, Hu Alidei HaMalchus. It is via the Malchus element. Why does it come from Chochmah into Bina? What's wrong with what's missing in Chochmah? On the contrary, Chochmah is the source of all life. That's the whole truth and the whole reality. Ultimately, this transfer, this process from Chochmah into Bina is revealing the principle of Malchus overall. In very simple terms, you can have a supreme concept. If it stays on the conceptual level, there is not the element of truth in it, of the godly truth. How do you bring the godly truth in it? To restore Malchus. This is why in our prayers, in our reference to Hashem, the ultimate reference is Melech Olam. This Melech Olam is not only inferring the subservience and the need for obedience. Melech Olam is referring to the inspiration that comes in mind. That we have our moshel from the guest and the host. Everybody remembers that one. He repeated it enough times. No matter what you give, it is his presence that is the ultimate gift, that makes value of all the things that he gave him. And thus, Malchus is instrumental in bringing all the spheres, in correlating all the spheres downward from a higher, from one sphere to the next. From a higher sphere into the lower sphere. And as we pointed out, just like we can recognize the Chochmah, there's no compelling element in the Chochmah that you should go into the Bina. It's got everything. The same is true regarding all the various qualities, spheres in a person. I have a feeling of mercy. It's a good feeling. Why does it have to be further translated in action? The feeling itself is not going to compel the action. The action is brought about by something more general, greater than the feeling. Something that gives reality to the feeling itself.
Seems like it's set up that they're really ishtalsha one to the other, that they're really all rooted in the source, and they sort of somehow become revealed by the other midot.
I'm not catching what you're trying to say.
No, I was trying to translate it to mine. I don't know if it's...
Valshum zen yikro vegel. And for that purpose, for that reason, for that quality in Malchus, It is called regel. Why? Sheba ve'al because thereby and through this function, through this quality, regel is the means by which a person walks from place to place.
From the Nikra Malchus regel?
Right. Because regel is that functional level, that functional quality that brings a person from place to place. Now his desire to go to the other place, his understanding that he has that it's a good idea to go to the other place is not going to bring him there. It is the Malchus element, and this is the hiluch, the foot. And on the most practical, on the lowest level, is the foot that brings it there.
Right. And the man walking, it's the feet that carry out the will of the sechel, or the motivation of the midot. But in these other examples, like the compassion, you were saying it's the malchus that makes the compassion become an action.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have a sense of how that should occur by the mashal? You know, the legs are motivated by the sechel, but in this nimshal.
No. This is what we said. Yes, the legs are motivated by the sechel. If the sechel were the motivation for the legs, it would never happen.
Because the real motivation is the midot?
No.
No.
The real motivation is the reality itself.
Which the legs sense?
What is he for?
Right. Oh, which is sort of makif to the sechel.
That's right.
And we also saying the legs kind of sense what he's here for. The legs kind of get to it.
Not to say legs get it through the sechel.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Legs don't get it, but that's what they represent. The ultimate, the malchus element in the entire human being is coming down all the way to the legs. And this is where it is. But this is where it is manifest.
So by the nimshal, the malchus is the equivalent of what he's here to do.
Well, that's too simplistic. Malchus is representative of the kesef. Kesef is the reality itself. And it comes out in spheres, in midot, in the form of malchus.
And is malchus the one that enables that chesed to become an actual deed?
That's right.
And that's based on the overall reality rather than his own sense of what.
That's right.
You say Malchus is begin as Gilui, you don't mean Gilui of the sechel, you mean Gilui of the reality.
Mm-hmm. All right. And okay, just a few more words. And in this regel, in this malchus, yesh was a gam kein beginners hamoichim. There too, there is the union of moichim, the beginning of moichim. Even though this is gilui, this is the final action, so to speak, and it, as we said, the action of the foot can be replicated on a robotic level. Just the action. But in reality, the foot has the inhamoichin. And they said the foot does not move. Person does not move his legs robotically. He walks to a destination. He's actually following through on the moichin, on the direction of the mind. The feet know where they're walking, in essence. This is it for this morning. And gentlemen, okay, tomorrow I'm not going to be here, and I think it's personally we can talk, but personally I'm not going to be here till after Pesach.
Yeah.